Hi, I'm in the book Recovering Biblical Manhood and Womanhood in chapter 23, Where's Dad? This is an article written by Weldon Hardenbrook. And I wanted to share some of the alarming statistics that are found in this chapter. And this gentleman, Weldon Hardenbrook, he has been a pastor, an editor, and an author, and a former Campus Crusade for Christ staff member. Here are the stats that he gives. So he says, consider these sobering statistics. 1 of every 4 American children has no father in the home to welcome him or her at the time of birth. Only 41% of today's children will grow up in a 2-parent family. Almost 1 million children are left with one parent because of divorce each year. 9 out of 10 of these are with their mothers. Today's children are the first generation in this country's history who think divorce, separation are normal part of family life, says Andrew, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Sherilyn of Johns Hopkins University. From 1950 to 1980, the annual rate of illegitimate births increased by a staggering 450%. The 715,200 children born without fathers in 1982 represent 19.4% of all births for that year. On average, American fathers give each of their children a mere 3 minutes of undivided attention each day. That one really staggered me, the last one. 3 minutes. This is in the 80s, these stats. Also, a few more stats that he mentions. Okay. In 1982, more than 80,000 juveniles were residing in juvenile custody facilities, not in their homes. The year before that, over 51% of people arrested for what the FBI considered to be serious crimes were under the age of 20. New York Times writer William Shannon disclosed, since 1963, crimes by children have been rising at a faster rate than the juvenile population. The rate of armed robbery, rape, and murder by juveniles has doubled in a decade. The FBI estimates that in 1983, youths under the age of 18 accounted for more than 218,000 burglaries, 81,000 drug abuse violations, 45,000 motor vehicle thefts, 43,000 aggravated assaults, and 10,000 arsons. In that same year, over 5,600 women were raped by youths aged 17 and under, and over 1,400 people were murdered by children in America. Just dreadful statistics, and I can't even imagine what it would be like now, given those statistics. Okay, so I think we as society now and Christians now should think about whether or not our attitude is contributing to the well-being of our own families and of families in general. Are we providing secure family life as Christians? Have we as Christians been influenced or persuaded to adopt attitudes, methods, and styles of parenting of modern society over or against biblical standards or counsel. How do we view stay-at-home parenting? If we are a homeschooler parent, how do we think about it? Do we think of it as a chore, a sacrifice, or do we view it as a blessing to our children, to our family, to our community, and to our church? Do we give our children our time? Are we committed to conversation with them? Do we consecrate time for that, for the instruction of the ways of the Lord with our children, in our families? Some practical biblical counsel on parenting can be found both in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. In the Old Testament, in Deuteronomy chapter 6, I wanted to read you, and I should have looked this up before. Deuteronomy 6, which helped us to make our decision to homeschool our Max. Deuteronomy 6, verses 4 to 9. Read, "Listen, O Israel, Jehovah our God is one Jehovah." I'm reading this from the New World Translation. "You must love Jehovah your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your strength. These words that I am commanding you today must be on your heart, and you must inculcate them in your sons and speak of them when you sit in your house and when you walk on the road and when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as a reminder on your hand, that they must be like a headband on your forehead. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates." And also verses 20 to 25. "In the future, when your son asks you, 'What is the meaning of the reminders and the regulations and the judicial decisions that Jehovah our God has commanded you?' then you will say to your son, 'We became slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, but Jehovah brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. So before our eyes, Jehovah kept sending signs and miracles, great and devastating, upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household. And he brought us out from there in order to bring us here, to give us the land about which he had sworn to our forefathers. Then Jehovah commanded us to carry out all these regulations and to fear Jehovah our God for our lasting good, so that we would keep alive as we are today. And it will mean righteousness for us if we are careful to observe all these commandments in obedience to Jehovah our God, just as he has commanded us." So, and then in the New Testament, this is the advice that's given about parenting. This is Ephesians 6, verse 4. "Fathers, do not be irritating your children, but go on bringing them up in the discipline and admonition of Jehovah." So, you also find in Colossians and in Timothy the same kind of advice given to, not advice, direction given to fathers in the early church. In Colossians 2:31 and 1 Timothy 3:4 and 12, it says, "Brothers, do not provoke our children, lest they become discouraged." And leaders of the church are told to manage their own households well. Okay, so I'm going to link to the first of a series of videos called Sins of the Fathers. And this is based on Exodus 34, the privileges and perils of parenthood. You can follow the link if you want to watch the next two after it.